So, India's nutritional challenges. రెండు చేయను చేస్తాను. Okay. So, why the topic has become relevant and why it is important. I already told you when Nandi Foundation, an NGO, when it released Hangama report, hunger and malnutrition, a report on hunger and malnutrition, Prime Minister is on record saying that the present high levels of malnutrition prevalent in children, adolescent girls and women is a national shame. So it speaks volumes about the alarming situation of malnutrition in this country. To let you know the seriousness of the problem, I will give you some facts. For example, every year in India 30 million women, which means 300 lakh, that means 3 crore women in India are becoming pregnant annually. So annually in India around 3 crore women, they are becoming pregnant. Out of them 1,36,000 maternal deaths occur annually, most of which can be prevented. And 1.7 million children do not reach their first birthday. That means 17 million children means 170 lakh children. 170 lakh. It's not a small figure. No, I'm sorry. 1.7 million means 17 lakh children die every year annually before they reach their first birthday. Apart from that, 1.2 million children, that means 12 lakh children die within a month every year. So these figures speak volumes about the alarming situation relating to malnutrition, because most of the maternal and infant deaths, they are preventable, they are avoidable. We have simple, elegant solutions. Just because we are not delivering on that front, we are seeing an annual maternal deaths of around 1,37,000 and infant mortality deaths of around 17 lakh. So every year in a country of a billion population, if around 1,37,000 mothers and 17 lakh children die because of simple preventable illness, it is really a national shame. So it speaks volumes about the levels of human development in India. So this is the context or the background under which this topic has to be dealt with. And you also need to appreciate the role of the government, because the government of India started ICDS way back in 1975. So 337 years back, the government is very much aware that early childhood holistic development is a key to national development. In the sense, if bulk of the people, bulk of the children, adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating mothers, if they are devoid of good nutrition, good health, their learning capabilities will get affected. In other words, their levels of productivity will come down. So this is not good for any economy. If you want these people to generate wealth for the country, it is very much vital to provide them good nutrition, access to quality health care, and if these two things are met, then only they will have good learning capabilities. So in other words, for the GDP growth of this country to be sustainable in the long run, and if India wants to grow at higher rates, delivering good nutrition and quality health care, it is a must. Unless you do that, you cannot make the growth inclusive. Nowadays it has become very much popular to use the word inclusive growth. What is inclusive growth? Right now only those people who belong to middle class, who are English medium educated and who have some kind of good quality education and who have got the right skills, they are alone availing the opportunities provided by globalization or liberalization and privatization. And bulk of the people who don't have good nutrition, who don't have good quality healthcare access, and who don't have the right type of education and right skills, they are not part of growth story. If this is not corrected, the present problems of left-wing extremism and violence due to income disparities, they are bound to increase. So this is the concern we need to address. So to make the growth truly inclusive, which we are right now focusing on, there is an imperative need to invest heavily on nutrition, quality healthcare, education and imparting skills. So my point here is not that the government is not aware of these problems. The government is very much aware of the importance of holistic development of childhood, early childhood development. That's why it started way back in 1975, this Integrated Child Development Services Scheme. So it is a world's biggest scheme for early childhood development. Nowhere in the world you can see such a huge program. So it was started by Mrs. Indira Gandhi, in the background of, then in 1975 there were some areas which were severely drought hit. So there was a drought prevailing in some of the areas in the country. Because of that drought, there were many pockets within India where there is no access to good nutrition, food and everything. So as to reach out to the people, it was started as a pilot project. And subsequently it was being expanded. So though the government was wise even then to provide this nutrition, what are the things which were different from then when compared to today? During 1975, though the government is willing to recognize the problem and respond to it, then our economy was growing at the rate of 3.5%, which was called Hindu rate of growth by Raj Krishnan, which means we can't grow more than that and we can't grow less than that. So if the economy grows at the rate of 3.5% per year, it will take 4 decades for the per capita income to double. Why we are talking about the per capita income? If the per capita income doubles within a shorter period, the government will have enough resources to spend for nutrition, quality healthcare, everything. By then, our economy is not growing at a very fast pace, so the government doesn't have the advantage of enough resources within it to universalize the scheme and reach out to everybody who deserves it. Okay? So the advantage which we have right now is in the last 2 decades the economy is growing at the rate of 8 to 9%. If the economy grows at the rate of 8 to 9%, it will take only 1 decade for the per capita income to double. In other words, the government will have enough revenue surpluses, so it has to invest in social expenditure relating to health, education, nutrition, imparting skills, everything. So now we have a historic opportunity of enough revenue surpluses, so as to reach out to these segments. So we started with the National Nutrition Policy in 1993, and subsequently in 1995 there was a National Plan of Action on Nutrition. Though the objectives were well designed, as I told you, because of a gap in resources and the whole lot of issues. Like, see, it is not enough if the government has got the will to deliver. You need, see, the bureaucracy which implements the scheme should be proactive and enthusiastic. And apart from that, you need to build a leadership at the community level, the Panchayati Raj institutions and the stakeholders. You need to build the leadership, and you need to engage the civil society organizations, because you know how Miss Aruna Rai is doing well in the field of National Rural Employment Guarantee and Right to Information, and Arvind Kejriwal is facilitating RTI activism, right to information. So you need people of that kind to build leadership at the community level. So if the intervention is made at a different level, then only things can improve. You cannot keep on finding fault with the government, saying that the government is not doing enough. Even if the government is doing enough, you need to have partnership and cooperation from other things, like the bureaucracy which is implementing should be proactive, and there should be leadership at the community level. People should take it proactive. Apart from that, the credible non-governmental organizations, they should also build leadership at the community level. And we need to do a lot whole of things. All this, if they are not done, we won't be moving ahead. That's right. So very recently, to give a push, a big push to India's to the problem of addressing India's nutrition, very recently, Government of India has constituted a National Council on India's Nutritional Challenges. PM's Prime Minister's National Council on India's Nutrition Challenges. So, it has recommended many things. For example, it has recommended strengthening and restructuring of Integrated Child Development Services Scheme. For this, a report was submitted by interministerial group. So that was under active consideration, and they were trying to come up with some changes in the ICDS scheme so as to make it much more effective. And the other thing is, I don't remember the year, in 2001 I think, Supreme Court gave a judgment or a directive in which it asked the Government of India to make the ICDS scheme universal. Right now the coverage is not universal. It covers only 8 crore children and 1.8 lakh pregnant and lactating mothers. So as of now the scheme is not, doesn't have universal coverage. So the objective is, by the end of the 12th Five-Year Plan, the planners are making an effort to make the scheme universal. For this you need a lot of money, you need massive capacity building. And when it comes to this imparting training to the ICDS functionaries, we already have a mechanism. We have the National Institute of Public Cooperation and Child Development, and we also have got Food and Nutrition Board. And primarily the National Institute of Public Cooperation and Child Development, it is engaged in training the functionaries and those trainers who train these functionaries. So this all relates to capacity building and imparting training. So we have the mechanism. So we need to give a momentum to this thing. So apart from that, I told you strengthening and restructuring ICDS. I told you universalizing the scheme by the end of the 12th Five-Year Plan. Apart from these two things, the Government of India has also made a commitment, and it has identified 200 high burden districts. In other words, it has identified the districts in our country which are very much burdened with heavy malnutrition. So they want to come up with a multi-sectoral program to provide nutrition to this section. Okay, so there is a commitment, and there is an initiative from the Government of India to come up with a new scheme which cuts across many sectors and which tries to impart nutrition to different stakeholders. Here in this case, it can be children, it can be adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating mothers. So they will be targeted especially in these 200 backward districts. This is another initiative which the Government of India is going to come up with. And finally, mainstreaming nutrition in the individual line ministries, in the sense all the ministries and departments of Government of India, while they plan, they should keep in mind the aspect of nutrition. If they deal with the National Rural Health Mission, if they deal with midday meal scheme, if they deal with ICDS, if they deal with total sanitation campaign, if they deal with NREGA, while the schemes of these kinds are being formulated, they should keep in mind this nutrition component. In the sense, you need to make convergence of all those schemes which relate to nutrition. So you should not confine to, see, it's not that only Ministry of Child and Women Development and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare should deal with the nutrition component of the schemes. So if Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Agriculture, there are a whole lot of another line ministries which, while formulating the schemes, they should bear it in mind that nutrition is an area which needs very good importance.
Faster.